The College of the Bahamas in mourning over the death of a lecturer, Free National Movement members up in arms, and a well-known pastor and his family held hostage and robbed at their home. Find out about these stories and others. I'm your host, Nico Scavella, and this is the Tribune's Top 5. A Royal Bahamas police force officer was arrested over allegations of sexual assault on a minor. A police constable was taken into custody on Tuesday afternoon in connection with the alleged sexual assault of a minor female, the Tribune understands. Assistant Commissioner of Police Stephen Dean said the officer is being questioned at the Central Detective Unit, but no other information on the arrest was released. However, the Tribune understands the alleged sexual assault took place in Andros. Investigations into that matter continue. The allegation comes after several police officers were arrested or interdicted from the force for unsatisfactory behavior. Last Friday, a former policeman appeared in magistrate's court facing kidnapping and rape charges. The officer was dismissed from the force shortly before he appeared in court. In December, a woman officer was interdicted for her alleged involvement in a brawl with a fellow cop at the funeral of a constable. Earlier that month, a former police officer was charged with armed robbery. That officer was fired from the force shortly before he made his initial court appearance. Last September, Commissioner of Police Ellison Greenslade vowed to eradicate bad apples from the Royal Bahamas police force. A woman arraigned on Tuesday in connection with her father's murder may undergo a psychiatric evaluation during her remand at the Bahamas Department of Correctional Services because of statements she made in court. Antonia Butler, 23, of Silver Palm Boulevard, stood before Chief Magistrate Joyanne Ferguson Pratt accused of intentionally and unlawfully causing the death of Anthony Butler on Saturday, January 9th. Butler, a College of the Bahamas lecturer and Valley Boys Junkanoo member, was allegedly stabbed in the chest during an argument at his Imperial Park home over the weekend. He was pronounced dead by EMS personnel upon their arrival at the scene. Although the 23-year-old accused was not required to enter a plea to the charge and was informed that the case will be fast-tracked to the Supreme Court on January 26th, she claimed she had already pleaded guilty while in police custody. With the F&M's decision to ratify new candidates to run in the 2017 general election, some avid party supporters were up in arms over the party's decision to seat new council members. In what could be seen as evidence of a continued rift within the Free National Movement, a party insider alleged on Wednesday that there was an underhanded move unfolding inside the F&M to oust former election candidates who are part of the party's central council and replace them with new hopefuls to stack the odds in favor of party leader Dr. Hubert Minnis. The former council member, who requested anonymity, explained that at the party's recent executive committee meeting and central council meeting, old candidates were asked to leave the council while several new candidates were announced. Many in the party, the insider insisted, only learned of this proposed move in a letter recently penned by his leader. When contacted by the Tribune, other insiders who seemed indifferent over the issue confirmed that certain failed candidates who were on the F&M's ticket during the last general election were being removed from the council. However, this move was the result of a motion previously agreed to several years ago, the Tribune was told, and not a plot by the party's leadership. F&M Chairman Michael Pintard categorically denied the claims, saying the party would not exclude any former candidate from the Central Council. He said former candidates need only send him a letter requesting to sit on the council and it would be approved. When asked about the claims of secrecy with party dealings made by the insider, Dr. Minnis told reporters that he was unaware of where the allegations came from, adding that the ratification process had been transparent. However, an angry former F&M MP subsequently blasted party executives over the removal of certain council members, despite Mr. Pintard's emphatic statement that past election hopefuls would not be excluded from the body. The former MP, who wanted to remain anonymous, told the Tribune that he, along with 6 others, were asked to relinquish their seats on the council, which would mean they no longer have voting rights within the party. Nonetheless, the meeting Wednesday night resulted in the ratification of 8 F&M hopefuls, all to be added to the party's central council. Chief Justice Sir Hartmut Longley on Wednesday said it would take a massacre similar to the Charlie Hebdo attack in Paris for the death penalty to be imposed in the Bahamas. Speaking a few weeks after the country hit a new murder record with 149 homicides in 2015, Sir Hartmut told judicial officers during the 2016 legal year opening ceremony held in the Supreme Court that, and I quote, "the death penalty is virtually dead," end quote. He said, and I quote, "I share the view expressed by the President of the Court of Appeal. Lest we have the experience of Charlie Hebdo, the chances of ever imposing the death penalty under the present system are nil," end quote. A year ago, 12 people were killed after gunmen burst into a magazine office in Paris, France. At least 2 gunmen attacked the French satirical magazine Charlie Hebdo, and shocked witnesses spoke of sustained gunfire at the office as the attackers opened fire with assault rifles. 2 brothers suspected of the magazine shootings were killed in an assault at a warehouse where they had held a hostage north of Paris. So Hartman said, and I quote, "The reality is, and I imagine it is, that a constitutional amendment is necessary," end quote. The last person executed in the Bahamas was David Mitchell in January 2000. He was convicted of stabbing 2 German tourists to death. Prominent pastor Rex Major was gun-butted and robbed in his home early Thursday morning by armed intruders who also allegedly attempted to sexually assault his daughter. In an interview with the Tribune hours after he was released from the hospital, Pastor Major, 80 years old, and his family recalled how armed men smashed the glass of their French doors and ransacked their home before fleeing the area in a waiting vehicle. Pastor Major of Grace Community Church was at home with his wife and daughter at the time. He said he fought off the armed men during the ordeal because he, and I quote, "would rather die than live with his wife or daughter being raped or hurt," end quote. His wife, 81-year-old Doreen Major, also told how she fought off one attacker who she feared was about to assault her adult daughter Jewel. She said she used her body to shield her daughter from the attacker while simultaneously praying out loud. The men ultimately made off with 3 televisions, a DVD player, an iPad, and cash, according to police, making it the second time the family has been robbed in 2 months. Late last year, Pastor Major said thieves stole CD players and batteries out of their vehicles. Early last year, his sister-in-law, who lives next door, had the glass doors at her home smashed in and was subsequently robbed by armed men, one of whom held a knife to her throat during the home invasion. In recounting Thursday's ordeal, Pastor Major said he does not believe he was personally targeted, but thinks that he was robbed because persons assume pastors have money. However, he said he believes the crime problem is out of control because society keeps making excuses for criminals. Want to get in on the discussion? Well, here's how you can. Just log on to our website, www.tribune242.com, like us on Facebook, Tribune News Network, send us a tweet at Tribune242, or subscribe to our YouTube channel, Tribune242.